Well, the sun might have said goodbye for another summer, but my word, have we got a new bright outlook in this head coach save. There are 4 games to go in a quite remarkable season, and rather unthinkably, if we get them right, we could yet win a domestic treble. Now, that would be against all the odds. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 134 of this head coach story with me, Daniel. We are back today with 3 games to go in the Premier League, an FA Cup final on the horizon, and we're top of the table. Yes, we are top of the table. It is a remarkable turnaround in the last month or so. We dropped 5 points. We haven't been brilliant, but Manchester City, as we mentioned previously, are focusing on the Champions League, which is giving us a bit of a chance. We've also got a couple of key injuries back, albeit there's still 2 big ones out. And now, as we go into 2 remarkably tough games in the Premier League, we know that the right outcomes could all but secure us a title, and that would be an incredible achievement. The chances are we're going to drop points at Newcastle and at home to City, and we'll end up finishing second. But you know what? We've been in the race, which is incredible. If you're looking forward to finding out how we get on as we go away to 5th before hosting our rivals in 2nd, then please do put a thumbs up on it. We've got an FA Cup final to come next time, possibly a crucial game against Southampton. And it did look for a moment like Spurs were going to get relegated just 2 years after winning a league. But for now, that is not going to be the case. They've pulled away right at the end. We, though, have got to focus on our games because this has turned into a very tense title race, which is not something we expected when we relinquished the lead. If we have a look at the schedule for what's been happening, you can see we've dropped 4 points in. I would argue the only 2 difficult games we had last month, although maybe that's unfair on Bournemouth, but 2 of the only 3 tricky games we'd had. We said we had largely a run of friendly home fixtures for the rest of the season. 5 of our 7 league games last month were at home. We got incredibly lucky with the FA Cup semi-final, and 1 of the 2 away games was against a newly promoted side. So we didn't really have an excuse to drop that many points, and we've only dropped a few, but you wouldn't have expected us to get back in the race that way. We've now got what is an awful run of May fixtures, and hopefully we'll be able to see them out well. But it is going to be about rotation for the next few weeks, and we've not really got the squad depth after that much talked about January deadline day. What we did get, though, was a few decent results throughout April. You were with me as we lost to City in the Champions League, but then got revenge in the FA Cup quarters. We lost 1-0 to Arsenal the following game after the international break. We tried to cling on for a point, and it just didn't work in the end. We then bounced back, though, with a 3-0 win at home to Norwich. You would have expected us to do so against the bottom side. Guido, Develay and Baysal got the goals there. An 8-0 win at home to Leeds, who were just appalling the next game. We did rotate a bit for this one, but in the end, it was just easy either way. Lima, Vidanov, Verstegen, the youngster, he came on at half-time with us 3-0 up, scored almost immediately. Humphreys, Develay, Guido, they all got one, and then Heaviat got a brace as well. A 2-0 win against Bournemouth thanks to Guido, who I think has only played 1 game since. A 5-2 win in the FA Cup semi-final against Everton. We got really lucky with this draw again because in the quarters, they went to Stamford Bridge and won after extra time, and we got a draw that was probably easier than we would have had before. And even though Spurs have recovered recently, they're in the bottom half of the league. So as an FA Cup run for a semi and a final, we probably can't argue much with it, albeit we have beaten City at home, so we deserve it if we do get there. It was Adrian Smith and Kakada with braces, and Guido got one as well just after the break. The disappointing 0-0 draw at home to West Ham followed, and this game really frustrated me because Joel North was returning from an injury layoff. He didn't play after the City game until that one. And the problem with this is if we'd won it, we could have afforded to lose against Manchester City. If you have a look at the stats for this game, I don't really know how we didn't win it. It's just because we didn't have anyone fit going forward. Demeter was struggling, North was just back from injury. We'd had either of them at full sharpness, I think we would have won it. We did, though, get back-to-back 4-0 wins to recover. Joel North did find the score sheet against Blackburn. He got it 3 times, got himself a hat-trick before the break. Hervenhoff got a goal early in the second half. And then at Brighton, the same scoreline with Develay, Demeter and a brace from Joel North. Hopefully he's back fit and in form, and we're going to need him because these 2 games over a 3-day period are going to give us a chance in the title race. If we're still top after them, it would then be a travesty if we lost the title, quite frankly. Of course, we could wrap it up today with 2 wins, but that's rather unlikely. If I show you what City have been doing by comparison, they have played, well, just a glut of 0-0 draws against Chelsea, against Inter, then against Newcastle, and then they lost 1-0 at Spurs as well, a resurgent Spurs. They nicked a 1-0 against Palace, they nicked a 1-0 against Watford. The goals have dried up for them, much like it did for us in sort of January, February time, and they just can't score goals with regularity. And to be fair, probably since the first leg of our Champions League tie, they've not been quite as free-flowing. They have on paper got an easier run to finish the season though. They play away at Juve today while we're playing Newcastle. We've got to get a result there. And then after us, they go to Charlton and play at home to West Ham, which, to be fair, Newcastle away is trickier than both of them. So let's just go and get through to it. It is a big start to a big run-in at Manchester United. And I'm just going to tell you now, if we win the treble, I'm retiring, because it will be one of the greatest achievements in my head coach history. This is a Manchester United side that still haven't won a title since the Fergie years. It's been 26 seasons, and with a squad that has been, well, sabotaged by our director of football in January, we are potentially 3 games away. I'm trying not to get excited because I know that the next 2 games we're probably going to lose and we're probably going to fall away. But there's a little bit of hope in me that thinks we're close now. I know deep down we're not going to do it. And I know deep down that the way the fixtures have fallen, this week's going to cost us. Let's see who's fit from the weekend. We're going into the youth team to fill the bench again, so that's why we're showing that one. But let's have a look at our senior squad because there's a few heavy match loads. There's another game in 3 days at home to City. But I don't know what you think. You can tell me down in the comments. I feel we're at the stage of the season now where we just need to play who's fit because there's no need to rest people. If we rest people and lose this game and then it doesn't work out against City, we've thrown away the title. Whereas if we win this one, we lose against City, they might drop another couple of points and we might yet win it. So I feel like we've just got to put our best team out every week and see if we can get the results. Guido and Ocon are still out injured. Ocon's been out for ages. Guido would be nice if we could have him back. And it looks like probably for the next episode, the last 2 games we will do. But now this is the 11 we've gone for. Great to have Baysal back fit. Arguably even better to have Joel North back fit. He's picked up where he left off. He continues to defy expectation. And how he's not been given an England cap yet with his form the last 2 years, I just don't know. But this is the squad we've gone for today. It is George Robles in goal. Steinlein and Simmons the fullbacks with Hervenhov and Develay as centre-half. We've got Heavier and Hodgkinson the midfield too. Smith in the number 10 role where he's done really well since Guido's been out. And then Demeter and Baysal off Joel North up front. The big 3 that we need to get us the result. Into the game we go. It's Newcastle v United. And this one, well, it could decide the title. Let's go and see how we get on. Well, we head into this one against a Newcastle side that have made 4 changes from their last fixture. They drop out Lindoso, who is ineligible against his parent club. George Rodriguez drops out too, another one of our former players. But Sanya and Malloy are both in and are the 2 men to watch. So let's just go and get through to it. We're going to say pick up where you left off. We're going to drop to balanced, I think. Do we start positive, try and push them? No, they've got too much pace in behind. Let's get through the dressing room, get the job done. Into the first half, fingers crossed. Can we stay in the game and then nick a win? Let's go and see at St James's Park if we can make ourselves real title favourites with a big win. Well, a quarter of the game gone. It's been very quiet so far, but we're back with Newcastle on the front foot. Vestrini surging down the left-hand side, finds Villalba. 2 on the edge of the box, Murad is one of them. We need to nick it and get on the counter, but it's not happening as Vestrini gets in. Now, I'm a bit worried about how easily he got his shot away there. For now, as long as it's 0-0, I don't care, but this is a bit of a worry as Simmons comes down the left to Baysal. Can we nick one now? They're going to play high against us as Baysal chips in. I mean, that's awful. I don't know who he's hoping to find there. We aren't a team that normally turns up in those big games away from home, and it's not looking good today so far either. Murad has just run the length on a post, but Steinlein intercepts, then gives it away. Why are every single time we're away to a top team, we give away one of those stupid 2-yard passes? It does my head in. Half an hour gone, it remains 0-0. It's been an even game on the stats, but it's just the same old mistakes that we only ever see in those games. And yes, there are teams pressing us higher or whatever. but it's not ideal really, is it? I think at half time we're going to make one tactical tweak. It's been a terrible game. 0-0 might be a good result, we just don't know yet. What I am going to do, you can see the fullbacks getting exposed. They're both on a yellow card. I'm going to put them to a defensive duty just so they're actually defending their wing back, and we'll leave the front four to do it alone on the counter. Into the second half we go. We've got to try and think about the City game as well when it comes to fatigue, but we've just got to try and get the job done. If we can win this, then the City game will take care of itself. We've got an hour on the clock. It's been pretty quiet. I am going to make a couple of changes because we are struggling a bit in certain areas. We've got Adrian Smith not playing well. Kakada is normally pretty good off the bench. Joel North is having a poor one. Who do I bring on? I think we're going to go for... I've done this a couple of times. Demeter up front. Baysal to the right. Vidanov on the left-hand side. And then further back, we've got Simmons struggling for Kieran Jones. And I'll do the same with both fullbacks. Because let's be honest, we don't want to risk any red cards. So on they come. We've got Humphreys and Jones there at fullback. And we have got, 25 minutes to go. Oh, the changes haven't been made. And there's a highlight going. You know that always gets me worried. Steinlein down the line. Gives it away. Don't get sent off. You're about to come off. Just hang on for a minute, will you? Over the top. This is going in. Watch my FM superstition come to life. There it is. Every time. Every time. We're going to VAR. The flag didn't go up. This will count. If you have changes pending, you always concede. It's so predictable when the subs are delayed and it doesn't go through. There it is. Well done, you lot. Let's get those changes on. But bravo, FM. Bravo. Well, 25 to go, and with the goal in and the changes made, it looks like we're going to collapse now. Look at that. Straight from a throw down the left. Oh, FM is so predictable at times. We knew what was going to happen. As soon as those changes were delayed a couple of minutes and a highlight came, we knew exactly what was going to happen with this game. And this is why I kept fighting with myself. I'm trying not to get too excited. We all knew what was going to happen here. Why did I allow myself to believe we might win the title? It was never going to happen. We were always going to collapse against Newcastle, and we'll probably do the same against City. I mean, at this point, we've got to preserve the goal difference because we have got that over City, and it might yet be important as Heavier gets the ball to Jones. Back to Kakada. Into Baysal. If he scores here, I might change my mind, but that's straight at the keeper. 10 minutes remaining. I brought Julien on for Hodgkinson as well. I'm sure you saw that as I was doing it on screen. As Devillet gets the ball to Heavier. He finds Kakada. Good support from Demeter and Julien. Lovely 1-2. Through to Kakada. What are you doing? You're supposed to be a world-class footballer. Just pass it either side of the goalkeeper. You've got 3 foot either side you can aim at. I mean, seriously. Right down his throat, and with 5 to go. You can't miss chances like that. We've said it in other games before this year. You cannot miss chances of that nature. Alunga in the centre circle for Villalba. Tipped over the top, and it's dealt with well by Kieran Jones. Well, I say well. Hasn't dealt with it yet. Hervenhov gets it into Heavier and Jones. There we go to Kakada. Good football to Vidanov. We get a goal now. Could be a grandstand finish, but that ain't going to help. And I've no idea why we're seeing it. He just chipped it over, headed away to the keeper. Though Kakada's nicked the ball high, finds Vidanov. 5 to go for Vidanov. Cross the line, it's got to be a foul. Baysal's about to tap in. He's brought down. He's not won the ball. How on earth is that not a penalty? Oh, look at the stats. We've dominated the game. And 5 crazy minutes in which we collapsed have cost us probably a Premier League title. Vidanov gets the ball to Jones, and at the moment, we're looking for a consolation. It's game over with a minute of stoppage time to go. I can't believe we've lost this by 2 goals. The classic FM superstition pending changes. And then a ridiculous one a moment after where you can't just let in 1 goal. You have to let in 2 in succession. Vidanov down for Kakada. There's the consolation. We're going to VAR, but that'll be fine. And unfortunately, it's too little too late. We missed glorious chances galore. Joel North's picked the day to have a bad game. And Demeter is just out of form. It's 2-1 to Newcastle. I cannot quite believe we've lost that. I mean, if you look at Meikle up front, he's a class above North and Demeter. That's why we're not at the same level consistently. But what a frustrating day. Look at those stats. We've lost the match. And now we've got to beat City. If we beat them, it's still in our hands for the final day. But that's a big if at the moment. Through to the weekend, I don't know who of these will be fit. We'll be back in a moment to find out. It's fitness test time, it's a Manchester derby, and it will certainly decide the Premier League, because if we win today, we will be 4 points clear, with one game remaining for us and two for City. It will be in our hands at Southampton. If we don't win it, then City could be above us by the time we get to that Southampton match, and by then it might be out of our hands. So it's going to be a tricky one, but we have got to give everything to win this game. There's a week off after, which will be beneficial to us, and they played in the Champions League on Wednesday while we were having disappointment at Newcastle. So let's see how many of our 11 are fit. Most of it is the answer. So what we're going to do is bring in Kakada for heavier, and Smith will go into that deeper midfield role. I think we might have to gamble with Deverley, because I don't see that we've got better replacements. Kieran Jones is okay, but he's not the level we need, and I want that solidarity where the two of them, they've got a great partnership. We're going to stick with it. So that is going to be the only change. The rest of the 11 will stay the same. Let's go and get into it. Kakada, you can add another goal for me today, son. Let's see how we get on against City in possibly the title decider. Well, as City are forced to rotate a little after reaching another Champions League final, we see 5 changes with the likes of Spasov, Kelleher and La Madrid and Parsons dropping out. That's not a bad thing for us. Godwin, the star striker, isn't there, which can't be a bad thing either. We have got nearly everyone in, so let's hope that we can do the job. Not ideal playing Wednesday evening and then the early kickoff on Saturday, but it's the same for both teams here. The only difference is that they went to Italy, which maybe gives them a disadvantage. Let's go and get through to the first half. Tottenham, who were playing the FA Cup final, they've also reached the European final too. They're playing Sociedad a few days either side, so that does mean we've potentially got advantage when it comes to fatigue in a couple of these games. But this is must win in terms of the title. We can't bank on City dropping other points. We wouldn't expect them to. But here they are with an early corner for Fran, headed away by North, only as far as Kostman. Laverne on the edge of the box. We're trying to force them back. He does pretty well, but Ticini's got it. To Fran, great effort. Just wide of the post. Caught us off guard there. But with 15 gone, it's 0-0. And so far, it's a pretty even game. Well, another City set piece, 25 gone. It's up to the back post, it hits the woodwork. I'm a little bit worried about the amount of set pieces we concede. We've done it a few times this season. We're just getting a little bit too aggressive in the wrong areas. You can see there's not been a shot on target yet, but City have definitely been the closer. But if we can get to half-time at 0-0, stay in this game and avoid the mad moment we had against Newcastle, then maybe we've got a chance. It's 0-0 at the break. That's certainly not a disaster. But let's say, give the fans their money's worth. We've got a few of the lads motivated. But again, we've got to keep an eye on fitness. We've got to keep an eye on form. And we've got to try and get this front three into the game, because at the moment, we just can't find a way. And it's another City free kick. Hervenhov heads it clear to Baysal. Brings it down. Gets it to Hervenhov again and Hodgkinson. All the way back to the keeper and now Simmons. But can we counter? Baysal, oh, he's robbed of possession. Again, it's the second half. And again, it's a really poor one to give away. What's Simmons doing? Trying to clear it across your own goal with your weak foot, instead of just putting it out for a throw. But Kakada nicks it. Man over on the left and right. The ball's not the best. Baysal is forced to turn back to Simmons. Over halfway to Baysal again. And it just seems to have petered out. City have got everyone back behind the ball. But Hervenhov with a big switch. Demeter gets there. Into the box he goes. Cuts back onto his left to Steinlein. In the box he goes. He gets to the byline. Tries to shoot himself. Eliseu tips it over. I don't know what to do, because they are offering a threat on the counter, those two fullbacks. But they're giving away so many free kicks. Baysal's corner's awful. Doesn't beat the first man. And Demeter will get it on the right. Back to him. Baysal tries to take his man on. I mean, he's been awful so far today. He's been poor. Demeter's knackered. We've got very few options as a substitute for them. Smith finds Baysal again. Back to Hodgkinson. Chips over towards North. It's overhit. Yeah, that's come to nothing. It's a pretty poor one. And unfortunately, it remains goalless. We've got about 20 minutes to go here. There is no doubt that our best team is on the pitch, but there's a point at which we have to push, isn't there? Because we need to get fit players on. So we are going to go Steinlein off for Humphreys. Kieran Jones on for Deverley. Hervenhov will switch sides. We've got Hodgkinson struggling. He'll be replaced by maybe heavier. Yep, let's do it. We're going to go for Demeter, replaced by Gulsdorf, and then base out will come off for Vidanov. A chance for some to be a hero. Not the better players coming on, but definitely the fitter ones. And with 20 minutes remaining in this Manchester derby, one goal will make us favourites for the title. It's all it takes. We're pushing. We're giving everything we can. But it doesn't look like it's coming, does it? It's just petering out into a 0-0. It is not the result we were hoping for. We've gone for it. We're chasing the game. But Laverne has got a late corner, and this could be a hammer blow. If we concede from here, it will be crushing. We dominated the game against Newcastle and lost it. We've played well in this one. It's been an even game, and George Robles has just about preserved a point. It's not perfect, but Smith's given the ball away. 93rd minute. Humphreys brings him down. Oh, he had to do it. Fair play. Little bit of a foul there, but do not lead to a goal, please. Please do not lead to something. I feel like there's a reason we're seeing this. They've got a few men over at the back post, but we've got as many back as we can. We're a short team. We know this is always a problem for us. Laverne is going to deliver it to the back post. Jones heads away. No one can get there. Vidanov chases, but he doesn't make it. Castañas down the right. Scaroni into La Madrid. The substitute crosses, it's blocked. And it's 0-0. We are 1 point clear of City. We've got one game to go. But the problem is they've got a game in hand. And on paper, Charlton away and West Ham at home, they shouldn't really be dropping points. We're going to find out in the goodness of time whether they do or not. We have got to have a look at the schedules here. It says it was a birthday to forget for me. I'm not too upset about that. I would have liked to have nicked the win, but we're still in the race, which is important. Southampton away is a friendlier game on paper at the end of the year. But what have we got left? In midweek, City go to Charlton. So we're going to come back, I think, on that Wednesday. I'm going to come back for you before that game, and we will see the result at the start of the episode. Don't want to be doing it off camera. Southampton away on the final day for us. City are home to West Ham. But we've got a week off and they haven't. Will that yet make a difference? We'll find out next time out. If you enjoyed this one, though, a crushing defeat at Newcastle. I don't really know how we lost it. Then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments. I mean, it's a flip of a coin. Do you think we win it? Or is City just too strong? And then, of course, we'll have the FA Cup final as well. It could be a very glorious finish to our time at Manchester United. And if it goes the right way, yeah, could be the end of the head coach this year. If you're looking forward to finding out what happens, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in 2 days' time for a gripping finale to the season, and I might get to give John the biggest up yours you could possibly imagine. But for now, we'll be back with the Builder Nation tomorrow. All the key playlists in the eye above and links in the description below. But thank you for watching, thank you for sticking with me, and hopefully you'll be rewarded with a dramatic finish next time.